Hello and welcome to another AVIDEngage video. My name is Marita, I'm the Victorian Community Development Officer with AVID, and today I'm joined again by Andrea Lucena-Orr from Dulux in our series of videos with Dulux. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you for having me. The first thing we were going to talk about was forecast and trending colours and how we use those in the home. So we're seeing a lot of mid-tone colours at the moment and lots of really interesting colour combinations, quite eclectic in the way that people are using colours together, which is quite exciting. There's a lot of 70s influence and actually all that period from the 60s to 80s, you can see that in fashion as well. And obviously, ultimately, that does bleed down to the interiors marketplace as well.
And how would we introduce that sort of new trend into our homes?
Sure. There's a lot of ways you can do it. Ultimately, you can do it in a small way, and it might be by bringing in new sofa cushions, it might be new bed linen, it could be maybe a nook in the hallway or the entryway that you can just paint that colour. Or even it could be, behind shelving units, Great way to bring colour in just behind the shelves and have your beautiful objects and items in front as decor. So there's lots of ways you can do it. Front door is always a great way for forecast colour as well.
Okay, that's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And how do you incorporate these design trends into, say, a neutral palette?
Sure. So what we are seeing at the moment is a lot of the neutral palette and incorporating whites as well is more on the warmer side. So when we're actually using whites, we often use neutrals together as well. So, and I can give you some examples, things like if we're using Tranquil Retreat, we might use natural white with that. If we're using Terrace White, we might use Lexicon Half with that, as a scheme. So there's a lot of ways you can do it. You can also use neutrals with colours as well, and some of our most popular colours are things like the deep navies like Snapshot or Baltica. Also in those more, warmer, sort of more nurturing colours, things like Beaten Track, which is this sort of gorgeous goldy sort of colour, or in the terracottas like Terra Rose or even Cinnamon Sand, which is more on that yellow side. So there's a lot of those gorgeous neutral colours, but you can still work alongside these warmer neutrals, but also the warmer whites.
Okay, and we still also have to keep in consideration of the orientation of the home and lighting and things like that.
Like always, we have to consider aspect, so where our room is facing, does it get warmer sort of light, or does it get that south side which has that bluish influence? We have to think about our existing fixtures and fittings as well, whether those new colours will work alongside those. And we also have to think about the perception of the colour. What does it look like in this space? Do you want a cosy, nurturing, welcoming, sort of cocooning room, or do you want a bright, light, spacious? And that will also determine what colour you choose, on your final selection.
There's still a lot to think about.
There is a lot to think about.
Yes. And when we're looking at perhaps using some of those new colours with your with a range of whites, what would your tips be?
So when you're using any of the new colours, I always think about the spectrum. So if it sits on that warmer side, I would tend to steer towards a warmer white or a more neutral white, if you like, something like Natural White or Snowy Mountains Half. And then especially if you're using browns or tans, because they have that brown undertone, you always have to use a warmer white or a neutral white, never cooler whites, because that will bring that blue out. So, there's little tips like that are really important. The good thing is that a lot of this information is on our website. So, especially all things forecast, we give a lot of the scheming there to help, obviously, everyone that wants to sort of bring in those new colours.
Sure, okay. And when we're thinking about accent colours, what's the best way to go about introducing those?
Sure. So once again, it starts small. I mean, the bedroom's always a great place to start your colour journey because it's a personal space. So you can do, something quite simple, like one wall behind your bed head. You could do all four walls if you really love that colour and you want that sort of enveloping feel. well. Or you could simply do, you know, we mentioned about, you know, furniture, just, you know, little pops of furniture, might be chairs, it could be even, you know, a little side table or even a coffee table, and just bringing in those pops of colour like that as well. But there's also, you know, by bringing in colour into your bedroom, often it gives you the confidence to use colour in other areas as well.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just that leap of faith, you know, once you actually do it and you dive in, you think, oh wow, look what it's given me back.
Yes.
It's giving me energy, it's given me, you know, all these sort of emotive qualities. That's what sort of starts your journey into, obviously, confidence building and doing other spaces after that.
Thanks, Andrea, for joining me once again in our series of videos with Dulux.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found some inspiration and best wishes on your quest in finding the right colour for you.